So I'm Emma Morris of the Jeremy Bamber Innocence Campaign. The campaign for the release and exoneration of Jeremy Bamber is made up of an official campaign team: Philip Walker, Yvonne Hartley, Lorna Lake, founder Sarah Hanover, and me, who are responsible for a wide range of tasks, including document research, collating evidence, assisting the legal team, and much more. The campaign also consists of a number of affiliates, including, but not limited to, Simon Kelly, Vicky Rowley, Jamie Packett, Jill McCarley, Barbara Diaz, and there are many more supporters, some of whom are here today, and many more from around the country and the world who help spread the word of Jeremy's innocence. They support him by being in regular contact, thus showing him he is not alone and spur him on in this long fight for justice. So for those of you that don't know, if there is anybody that doesn't know, Jeremy Bamber was convicted in 1986 of the August 1985 murders of his mother and father, June and Neville Bamber, his sister, Sheila Cattell, and her 6-year-old twin sons, Nicholas and Daniel, at White House Farm in rural Essex. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 25 years. But 2 years later, this was increased to a whole life order by the then Home Secretary, Douglas Hurd. However, Jeremy wasn't told about the increase until just before Christmas 1994, when the then 33-year-old was asked by the prison governor what sort of coffin he would like. Jeremy has always protested his innocence, never wavering from his position that it was his paranoid schizophrenic sister Sheila that killed the family before turning the gun on herself. The evidence we now have, which has been uncovered over the last 38 years, proves he was telling the truth. Jeremy was last granted an appeal in 2002, mainly in relation to new DNA evidence. This appeal failed, and it will be another 9 years in 2011, when around 347,000 previously withheld documents from the original police and Home Office files and subsequent investigations into the case were finally handed over to the defence. It took a further 10 years for Jeremy and the campaign team to review, analyse, cross-reference and fully, meticulously study the case material, as well as commissioning forensic examinations where appropriate to get to the truth of what really happened. What was found was shocking. A case littered with evidence of police incompetence, collusion, corruption, witness perjury and forensic malpractice. We can now prove that Essex police fabricated, altered and destroyed evidence, and that they continue to cover this up to this day, despite our unrelenting determination to obtain key documents they and others hold. After 10 years of reviewing the case, an initial 8 issues with multiple grounds of appeal were submitted to the CCRC on the 10th of March 2021. These were followed at the request of the CCRC by 2 additional submissions, and the evidence contained in these were discovered after the initial submissions had been made. The 10 submissions relate to the following. 1. 2 silencers known to have featured in the case and how this evidence was fabricated. 2. Telephone calls proving Neville Bamber called the police stating his daughter had gone berserk and had hold of one of his guns. 3. The integrity of the scene relating to significant interference with it by Essex police that was covered up. 4. The windows at White House Farm, Jeremy's alleged entrance and exit from the crime scene. These are multiple grounds in relation to the kitchen and downstairs shower room windows that undermines the Crown's evidence at trial. 5. Sheila Cattell. Multiple grounds which prove Sheila was alive until after the rating entered the house, whilst Jeremy was outside with police, having allegedly murdered her hours earlier. 6. Photographic issues regarding the non-disclosure of case photographs in respect of many individual case issues. 7. Complaints against police officers, which I'll touch on shortly. 8. Inheritance issues. Multiple grounds regarding the actions in the case of the beneficiaries to the Bamber estate if Jeremy were convicted, and how the jury were deceived. 9. The burn marks on Neville Bamber's back, proving he was moved, and the missing scene logs. And 10. The credibility of Julie Mugford, Jeremy's girlfriend at the time of the tragedies, who implicated him in the murders. Following a judicial review in 2020, after 4 years of legal attempts to force the Crown Prosecution Service to disclose a limited and very specific document to the defence, the request was unfortunately denied. However, during the judicial review, we discovered that 2 former Essex police officers who worked on Jeremy's case, the lead investigator, DSI Ainsley, and scenes of crimes officer, DI Cook, had taken crime scene photographs and case material home with them. They then distributed them to members of the public, one being author Caroline Lee and another a filmmaker. Shockingly, we discovered that some of the documents handed over to Caroline Lee were documents that the defence had been trying to obtain disclosure of through official means for many years but had been denied. We were also made aware that former DI Cook was sharing photographs of the dead Bamber family or some sort of party piece at his home to whoever was interested. After our initial review of the 2011 disclosures during June 2020, a complaint was raised with Essex Police relating to this and other actions of corruption and perverting the course of justice. This was regarding the conduct of these 2 former officers during their time on the case. The complaints included fabricating evidence and lying to the Department of Public Prosecutions. Essex Police brushed this complaint under the carpet and even told Jeremy and his solicitor that they were abusing process by even raising them. However, 3 years later, in March this year, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the IOPC, disagreed with Essex Police and upheld the complaint and ruled that Essex Police had acted illegally in not referring the complaints to them initially, in line with established procedure. They also ruled that they had not dealt with or investigated any of the 29 complaint points adequately or indeed at all. However, as both officers died whilst we were waiting for the complaint to be dealt with, the IOPC was unable to take any further action. They said that, as the case was with the Criminal Cases Review Commission, they are best placed to deal with the issues raised. The IOPC did recommend Essex Police take on board and learn from their ruling. So, how did Essex Police respond? Well, they didn't really. No apology, nothing. They simply said the case is with the CCRC and left it at that. And indeed it is. And let's hope the CCRC can see how Essex Police has continually attempted to simply avoid and brush over such serious allegations against them rather than investigate and defend them. And perhaps the CCRC will ask themselves why they would do that. Although a significant number of documents were disclosed in 2011, the examinations of these highlight that there is still substantial and pertinent evidence being withheld from the defence to this day. There are files held at the Forensic Archives that Essex Police has inexplicably hidden under a non-disclosure agreement. There are also over 200 files held at the National Archives on Jeremy Bamber and the murders that are closed and will remain closed until between 2054 and 2079, an incredible 94 years after the tragedies. We are still trying to get to the bottom of who requested closure of these files and why. There are 3 court orders in place ordering Essex Police to disclose all material in the case, court orders they have ignored. We have made many attempts over the years to obtain these vital documents, and all efforts so far have failed. At one stage, Essex Police refused disclosure because they said it would be too costly to provide the documents requested. Supported by the Information Commissioner's Office, Jeremy offered to pay for the administration costs of disclosure personally, but they still refused. Human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell has been writing to Essex Police since 2017, requesting they disclose evidence in Jeremy's case. In 2021, he wrote to Chief Constable B.J. Harrington to ask again for some very specific and limited but vital documents to be released to the defence. Harrington refused, citing that Jeremy's case has been subject to many reviews and that his conviction has stood up to judicial and public scrutiny. Just last month, Peter Tatchell wrote again to B.J. Harrington in light of the IOPC's ruling and the public interest in the Andrew Malkinson case to suggest it would be an appropriate time for him to reflect on his previous refusals to disclose. He pointed out that any review or appeal could not be fairly reviewed or investigated or decided upon where such significant non-disclosure of key evidence exists. This time we have asked for even fewer documents to be released to the defence immediately to assist the CCRC in their review of one of the specific issues. We await their response with anticipation, but alas, very little optimism. So, after 10 years of reviewing the case material, the 10 issues with the multiple grounds of appeal described earlier were submitted to the CCRC. This was 962 days ago today, on the 10th of March 2021. 962 days, and so far they have looked at just 2 of the 10 issues. Whilst they have issued preservation orders on the case material, as far as we know, they have yet to request any further disclosures from Essex Police. The delay in this review is shocking and simply unacceptable, and in our view cannot be justified. However, if the CCRC continues to delay, and if a referral is not imminent, there are other legal avenues we are currently exploring and will action in the very near future. If you are interested in learning more or want to lend your support to Jeremy Bamber and the campaign, you can visit our website at jeremy-bamber.co.uk and listen to our podcasts that talk in detail about the case and evidence that we now have. You will find them on all major streaming platforms. Search Jeremy Bamber and White House Farm Podcast. You can join our Facebook group, Jeremy Bamber Justice Group, and support us on TikTok, where we have so far amassed well over 1 million views on our videos, Justice for, the number 4, Jeremy Bamber, and our X, formerly Twitter, account, Bamber Tweets. We hold regular Zoom meetings with the campaign team and supporters, providing legal and campaign updates, presentations and special guest speakers from the world of miscarriages of justice. Jeremy Bamber, described by the trial judge as evil, almost beyond belief, was just 24 when he was remanded into custody on the 29th of September 1985, and he has not seen a day's freedom since. He is now 62 years old. That is 13,908 days wrongly incarcerated, 13,908 days of life stolen. When he is exonerated, it will highlight to the world and will be remembered as one of the biggest miscarriages of justice our country has ever seen. Please join us in supporting our cause to free an innocent man and be on the right side of history. This isn't just about Jeremy, because when his case is overturned, it will be a watershed moment for so many others to follow. Thank you.